morning I'm still reporting on Trump, the master strategist. First, a word about reporting on unconfirmed speculation. Just because I occasionally report on unconfirmed speculation does not mean I support it. Latest example, the speculation yesterday that Steve Bannon was on the way out. Dozens of MSM have reported this as rumor, but I had the unique angle, which I reported yesterday, that Steve Bannon was one of the leakers of insider White House information. That doesn't mean I believe it, and it certainly doesn't mean I want Bannon, the leading populist influence close to President Trump, to be sent packing. But what is going on inside the White House is, by necessity, shrouded in secrecy, and people want to know the president's real intentions. Okay, so it's news. Now, on to Korea. Another tiny detail about the failure of the latest North Korean missile launch has come out tonight that makes a ton of difference in our understanding of how Trump's negotiations with the Chinese may be affecting North Korea's actions. Today was a celebration of the birth of the grandfather of North Korea's dictator, Kim Jong-un, 105 years ago. I'm not quite sure what the significance of the number 105 is, other than a good day to start some trouble. For the preceding week, the buzz in the MSM was that Tiny Kim would light off his latest underground A-bomb test, presumably the first test of a miniaturized ballistic missile-capable warhead. However, President Trump's version of muscular diplomacy may have gotten in the way. Last week, China ordered the return of a massive shipment of Korea's most significant export, coal. Then, the next day, China moved 150,000 troops to the northern border of North Korea. We had been criticized for exaggerating that number by a factor of 10, but it has now been confirmed that the number of troops is between 150 and 175,000. Lastly, China told Korea that if they went ahead with their nuke test, the flow of oil from China would come to a complete halt. Korea gets 90% of their oil from China. So, experts watched closely today to see if the Koreans would bend to the Chinese demands, and sure enough, they did. However, Tiny Kim did decide to attempt to show off his latest ballistic missile, believed to be their first prized ICBM, a guided ballistic missile with a minimum range of 5,500 kilometers or 3,500 miles, primarily designed for nuclear weapons delivery. This was thought to be the game changer for the North, as it would put parts of the U.S. in its range. However, the missile launch exploded seconds after liftoff, a huge embarrassment for the Tiny Kim regime. It gets more interesting. About 3 hours ago, it was reported by Fox News reporter on the scene in Korea, Greg Palcott, that the North Korean ICBM was actually exploded as a result of an unconfirmed cyber attack. If so, was it the U.S.? Not as likely as the Chinese. This could well be yet another fruit of President Trump's muscular diplomacy negotiations with the Chinese leader in Florida last weekend. I'm still reporting from Washington. Good day. And this morning we celebrate the most holy of the Christian holidays, the day of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'm going to read you a continuation from yesterday's reading. This comes from chapter 28 of Matthew. Now, after the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, and the first day in Christian terms is, of course, Sunday, not Monday, which is the Roman calendar's version of the first day of the week in many cases. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to look at the grave, and behold, a severe earthquake had occurred, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled away the stone and sat upon it. and his appearance was like lightning, and his garment as white as snow. And the guards shook for fear of him, and became like dead men. And the angel answered and said to the woman, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus, who has been crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, just as he said. Come, see the place where he was lying. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead, and behold, he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him. Behold, I have told you." And they departed quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy, and ran to report it to his disciples. And behold, Jesus met them and greeted them. And they came up and took hold of his feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and take word to my brethren to leave for Galilee, for there they shall see me." Now while they were on their way, behold, some of the guard came into the city and reported to the chief priests all that had happened. And remember, this was not the Roman guard, this was the Jewish guard. And when they had assembled with the elders and counseled together, they gave a large sum of money to the soldiers, and said, "You are to say his disciples came by night and stole him away while we were asleep. And if this should come to the governor's ears, we will win him over and keep you out of trouble." And they took the money and did as they had been instructed. And this story is widely spread among the Jews and is to this day. But the 11 disciples proceeded to Galilee, to the mountain which Jesus had designated. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some were doubtful. And Jesus came up and spoke to them, saying, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach them to observe all that I commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." And that's the end of Matthew chapter 28.